Hey everyone, welcome to another Monday night for our Healthcare Professionals Investing in Real Estate Facebook group Zoom meetup. We host this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Alex Sabio and I, he cannot be here tonight, but he is normally here. We're the admins of that group, and we are going to actually be switching it to Wednesday. So it's going to be moving. This will be the last Monday. Starting next week, it'll be on Wednesday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it will be a date change and a time change as well. So we'll post about that on the group, and then we'll do some marketing across our socials so everyone can get kind of the message on that. But kind of a little bit of background on the group. Alex and I met at a Zoom meetup and kind of had different real estate backgrounds. I invest primarily in multifamily syndications, and Alex is investing primarily in short-term rentals. We're hoping to join some forces soon and do some deals together. But we really just kind of resonated with the fact that we're both healthcare workers and we were working super demanding schedules. I think we met kind of at the height of COVID, and both of us were putting like all our time and energy into investing in real estate, and just listening to some of our coworkers talk about where they were with their investments and work-life balance. We just felt like more healthcare professionals needed to learn about investing in real estate, and we were all about educating them. So Alex, we're kind of becoming go-tos in our realm of hospital people of real estate information and resources. And so we created the Facebook group to kind of share all of that in a central hub, and then bring together a little community, which has been really cool to watch. There's a lot of very active people in that group, a lot of people doing deals, so many healthcare professionals. It's like crazy cool to see doctors and nurses like showcasing their Airbnbs and how creative they are. So we're really stoked about the group. It is growing. So if you guys know of any healthcare professionals that are interested in joining kind of a community like that, please send it their way. A little bit of a background on myself. I'm a registered nurse, started investing beginning of 2020, got into single family homes, and then switched into multifamily syndications just because when I started investing in real estate, I didn't have any money to do so. And so raising other people, raising in the form of a syndication to do larger type deals was what my husband and I started doing, because we were really wanted to pour and sweat equity into these deals and scale a portfolio. And so it's allowed me to get a lot of healthcare professionals investing in real estate really passively, which has been super, super cool. I have a lot of healthcare professionals investing in my deals, and a lot of them don't want to take a super active approach in real estate, but really want to see some of the returns, and the multifamily syndications really offer that. So it's been really cool to kind of grow that strategy. So that's a little bit about myself. And with that, I will kick it over to Oliver. Oliver, I will let you introduce yourself and give your whole spiel. And then you guys, we really have a casual kind of atmosphere here. If you have any questions live, you can either raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, it's the actions tab in the bottom. There's a raise hand thing down there. Or you can go ahead and just drop the chat or the question over into the chat too. And then we'll try and get to some of the questions. And then Oliver, do you want me to stop you in the middle of the presentation and kind of dive into some of those questions live, or save them for the end?
Yeah, it would be awesome. As we're going through everything, if you want to interrupt, if anyone else wants to interrupt, love the casual vibe. So that would be great.
Cool. Perfect. All right. Well, I will turn it over to you, and you can go ahead and intro yourself.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here and talk with the healthcare professionals. It's one of those funny trends where I'm always surprised. It seems kind of like a subculture in the short-term rental industry. Whenever I'm doing demos and things, it's always like doctors and nurses and everyone who's starting out and really getting after the investments here. So cool to see there's a whole kind of group around it. Anyways, my name's Oliver. I am the head of business development here at StayFi. So I joined the company very recently, 2 months ago here. This is my first kind of public webinar I'm doing. So this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Before StayFi, I was at a company called Price Labs, where if you're in short-term rentals, you might have heard of them. They are a dynamic pricing solution, basically helping you set prices correctly for all of your short-term rentals so that, you know, when you have this property, you're making say 10, 20, 30% more than you would just by having static prices. So I've enjoyed the switch to more of the marketing side of things, where what we're trying to do is trying to help you take control of your bookings, move away from, you know, having all the OTAs here. And Savannah, is there a way for me to share my screen? I just got the message that it is disabled.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Let me.
No worries. No worries.
Oh, Oh, you know what? I think Alex might have to do that from his account. So are you able to share it now?
Let me see. No, still disabled.
No.
Tricky.
I'll see if I can get her on here to give you host privilege.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, I can keep talking in the meantime. But essentially, yeah, with StayFi, we are more on the direct booking side of things. So trying to put you in control of your guest data, so that you can be proactive about reaching out to your guests, proactive about building your brand, and then helping you expose that brand to, you know, everyone who has stayed at your property in the past, and kind of take those bookings back from the OTA. So I had a little PowerPoint set up here that I was going to go through. We'll see if the video comes back here. But generally, I mean, the way that we're trying to get you that guest information is through Wi-Fi splash pages. So the same idea as what like hotels, coffee shops, airports have been doing for a while, where you go to the hotel, you log in, first thing you see is a little splash page. And I think I have privileges. Okay,
Yes,
awesome,
you do.
perfect. Awesome. So yeah, you go to the hotel, you know, you log into the Wi-Fi, you see, hey, Hilton pop-up shows up. They ask you for your name or your room number, your email. You click connect, and then they have your information for that booking. So we're essentially doing that for short-term rentals as a way to help you grow your mailing list so that you can try to take more direct bookings in the future here. So kind of agenda of what I was hoping to talk about today. Why take direct bookings, how to approach marketings to convert some of those guests that you've had in the past into direct bookings, and then the collecting guest information side of things to drive more direct bookings. So, you know, how do you get that info that's actually feeding your marketing strategies, which is kind of the bread and butter of what StayFi is doing here. So why direct bookings? Why are direct bookings important? First and foremost, they are commission-free bookings. So, I mean, as you're aware, like you go, someone books your property on Airbnb, they're taking anywhere from 5 to 18% of that, you know, of that revenue as that booking fee. So any direct booking that you get, that's essentially a free booking. You're skipping that commission side of things. B, it's the strongest channel for repeat guests. So what if you can get any first-time guest to book directly with you, they're a lot more likely to keep booking your property in the future. Whereas, let's say I went down to Florida, I'm based up in Seattle. If I go down to Florida again, and the first time I went down to Florida, I booked an Airbnb, it's pretty unlikely that I'll book that same Airbnb again. Lots of studies kind of going out there and showing, hey, if someone books with you directly, that is kind of the strongest channel for stickiness and getting those guests to stay with you in the future here. And then finally, you just own the guests, you own the data, you own the entire guest experience. If someone comes, you know, they throw a party, lots of damages, you actually own, you know, that damage deposit instead of having to work with the OTA to try to get that back. You are kind of the owner of that booking, so it just makes things a lot more streamlined there. And then you're in charge of all that branding and everything that the guest sees here. In terms of booking trends that we've seen with like direct bookings channels where people are generally booking here. This slide is actually coming from Beyond. We did a webinar with them a couple weeks ago. I like this slide. This is showing us what percentage of all bookings for January of each of these years came from a certain channel. And January is one of those months where it's definitely not the summer high season where, you know, summer, June, July, August, whatever your high season might be. it's basically going to fill up 100% of the time, even if you're just listing on Airbnb, not marketing your property. You know, if you do nothing, your property will fill up in the high season. So here we're looking at January when occupancies tend to be lower. And we see year over year, the market share of direct bookings has kind of been shrinking year over year. So from 2018 to 2022, the percentage of bookings coming from direct bookings is going down. So that the actual total number of bookings has increased, and we've seen that by Airbnb and Vrbo and everyone investing so much money into advertising short-term rentals. You know, short-term rentals just becoming more popular in general. But really what we were trying to convey here is that to continue to get more direct bookings, you really have to be a little bit smarter about how you're doing it. So we'll go over a few different strategies and things, different marketing campaigns and different things you guys can be doing to try to get those guests to book directly with you in the future here. And then finally, kind of the backbone of every direct booking strategy is going to be that direct booking site. So, you know, your direct booking site is going to be where all of your ads, your email campaigns, your SMS campaigns, your social media, that's kind of going to be where you're pushing guests to. It helps you establish your brand, helps you provide resources to guests, helps you build credibility of saying, hey, you know, I am staying with a professional property manager. This is a real company that, you know, my rental will exist when I show up there. So really building that credibility when you push people to book direct, and then also just, of course, having a place for people to book your property directly. So whatever tool you use for creating a direct booking site, whether that's just a WordPress site with a plugin, whether you're using one of the PMSs or anything, I mean, that is kind of something I would definitely consider investing in and really starting out here so you can start building your SEO and having that as kind of a channel to accept these bookings into the future here. Awesome. So now, I mean, yeah, that was kind of an overview. Now pivoting to the how do we actually drive guests to book direct? And the idea here is really trying to get in front of as many past and potential guests as possible. Three main channels that we've had the most success with: email, SMS, and social. And with all of these channels, really kind of the main thing that keeps popping up in, you know, every resource that I see here is the more segmented and targeted your campaigns are, whether it's like an email campaign, SMS campaign, social campaign, if you're doing paid ads or anything, really that segmentation is what makes these campaigns successful. So just something to keep in mind when we're going through all of this. So with StayFi, our tool kind of started purely as an email marketing tool. Now we've evolved into offering some SMS and some social media options. So email marketing, that's kind of the traditional way of marketing that most people think of here initially. And with email marketing, I mean, the main question I get is, you know, is email marketing dead? It seems like all the modern companies are moving to social media and everything. Study by HubSpot, for every $42 spent on email marketing, for every $1 spent on email marketing, $42 of revenue are generated. So it really is kind of an effective tool. Most of the major property managers I talk to, you know, that is where they're investing most of their money. So, you know, the pros who have been doing it for 20 years, the modern companies that are just starting out, everyone is still in email marketing. Some ways we can attack that. You know, providing an item of value when people sign up for your website. So really providing some sort of value to collect emails, which I'll go into in a little bit. Welcoming every single guest who signs into your property, collecting their emails, and then establishing kind of that point of contact, and then just general email marketing throughout the year to have those touch points, stay top of mind, and then provide offers that kind of incentivize everyone to book again in the future. The main thing with email marketing here is that this should really be a fully automated process. So this shouldn't be something that you're going in, you know, every week or every month and saying, hey, I'm focusing on my email marketing this month. This should be something that you just set up once and automate. So, I mean, tools like MailChimp, Constant Contact, Campaign Monitor, MailChimp's definitely the most popular one we see here. But really treating this as a passive way to try to market to people, try to get more bookings, instead of actively going in and, you know, setting this up on a weekly basis, monthly basis, and so on. So as an example of what we've kind of found is effective, this is one of our customers, Fernie Direct. This is kind of a sample of the email drip campaign that they would send to all of their customers after the customer first checks into the property here. So day 0, customer checks in, sending them a welcome message, just so that they see that brand recognition. Hey, I'm staying with Fernie Direct, hope you enjoy your stay, customizing that to the actual property that they're staying in, providing some helpful resources for the area, customizing it to their name and all that good stuff here. 10 days later, they send a follow-up email saying, hey, thanks for staying with us, asking them to review their properties on Facebook, Google, their direct booking site, having them explore more properties in their portfolio. 30 days later, saying, hey, it was great that you stayed with us. Come stay with us again in the future. Here's all the events that are coming up. Link to their direct booking site. 90 days later, check in from the CEO, just saying, hey, we enjoy your business. Come stay with us again. So just having those multiple touch points, this is something you'll set up once. It'll go off on its own in the future. And then, every 3 to 4 months or so is what we find effective without getting people to unsubscribe here. Just sending little promotions, hey, use code DIRECT, get 10% off of your booking, and just staying top of mind. So if someone does say, hey, let's plan that vacation again, let's go to the same place. Your company, your brand is kind of top of mind for everyone who is, looking to make new travel plans going into the future. Next up, text marketing. This is something that we added to StayFi pretty recently here. And what really sets text marketing apart is just the open rates. Where emails are very easy to ignore. You get an email, it's titled to you, you still very likely ignore it. Find that emails typically have anywhere from 20 to 40% open rates or so, depending on the company here. SMS marketings have 98% plus open rates. Everyone gets a text, they click on it, they see that content, especially if it's catered to you here. So in StayFi, basically collecting guest phone numbers and then sending them a personalized text when they first log into your property with some helpful information here. So you can say, hey, customize the message to the person's name here. Welcome to the property that they're staying at. Find all necessary information in the guidebook. You put in the guidebook URL for your specific properties. We hope you enjoyed your stay here. So really having a positive first point of contact where you're giving them some information that's kind of critical to them. And then into the future, you can set up either drip campaigns or bulk text message campaigns where everyone's going to see this. Just giving them, discounts, different promotions you're having, promoting different events that are happening in your area, and so on here. Then finally, I'll talk about this in a second, but we do have a way of saying, hey, a few days after your guest stayed, send them a code to review your property as a way of kind of trying to get more 5-star reviews for all of your properties here. So when you're thinking about like email campaigns versus text marketing versus social, really thinking about, who's your target market, where are your guests, and then just iterating off of this in the future. If you find that, you aren't getting success with email marketing, but text is working, doubling down on text marketing, seeing what other people in your area are doing and really finding that marketing channel that works here. So of all these things, it is just a lot of experimentation. A/B testing. If you find, hey, I've set up this campaign, no one's ever booked my property through it, no one's opening my messages, iterating off of that and building off of it into the future here. And then so that's email and text. Last one would be Facebook/Instagram retargeting. So the idea here is really, hey, getting them on social. If you do collect your guest emails can be uploaded into all of the, social media platform. You can upload them into Facebook and Instagram. It's basically the same platform there. And then every single guest who stayed with you, whose email you've collected, they'll just see your property pop up in their social feeds, build that brand recognition. So if they do have that 5-star experience with you, very happy with your stay, they'll remember that brand that was behind that vacation experience here. I'll talk about some features we have in StayFi for planting kind of Facebook pixels so that everyone who does log into the Wi-Fi, they'll have a pixel planted on them if you want to. And then they'll automatically just start seeing your company pop up in ads here. Awesome. And with all of this, so StayFi, we'll dive into the system in just a second here, but we really focus on the collection side of things. So we're by no means marketing experts. If you decide, hey, email marketing, text marketing, social media marketing, it's something that I really want to dive into. We do have a whole network of partners that help set this up for you, whether it's, getting tips on campaigns and things, tips on setting things up, tips on setting up your direct booking site, setting up your direct booking site for you. We don't specialize in that, but we do have all these, amazing partners that do. So I'll have some of that information for you guys here too. I'm good. So now the bread and butter of things would be collecting guest emails. Before we dive into that, Savannah, any questions? Should we pause? Should we go over anything?
No, this is really, really good stuff. You can carry on. I have questions just in general, feedback about the overall process, but keep going through this stuff. It's good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. It's a lot of talking here. So good. So collecting guest information. So for everything that we're talking about here, whether it's email, whether it's text, whether it's social, you have to have data that's fueling, where you're actually sending these messages. So that's kind of what we're trying to tackle here. And when is guest data most valuable? When it's correct, direct, and personalized. So direct, that's basically just choosing the best avenue for getting this message out to people. So email, text, or social. Correct. We've seen this where people are saying, hey, if I collect my guest emails, I don't get the email down correctly, like the email bounces. Okay, they didn't see the message, so what? Email marketing tools, they actually ding you, same as text message tools, they ding you for getting bounced messages. So making sure that you do validate all of your information is super important, or you'll just start getting hit by all the spam filters. No one's ever going to see your messages into the future here. And then finally, like we were talking about earlier, just collecting more information than just their name and their email so that you can actually personalize the content that you're sharing to the guest itself here. Cool. So now where can we collect guest information? Two main places. I don't like the Facebook groups example. My boss put that in there, but we'll talk about direct booking sites and current guests. So direct booking sites, we already went over this to a degree, but the idea is that if someone's already visiting your direct booking site, they have a very high intent to buy. So they're either looking to book with you, or they've seen some of your marketing that you have anywhere out there, your branding, and they're looking for a stay in your general area. So if you can collect anyone's information off of a direct booking site visit, that's a very warm lead where if you can market to them, you could potentially, turn that into a conversion for their vacation right now or a future vacation, since they're probably traveling to that area here. With that too, super valuable tools. This is the idea of offering something in exchange for an email. So using, unfortunately, pop-ups, we've seen that they work super well. So when a guest is either on your site or about to leave your site, hitting them with a little pop-up that says, hey, submit your name, submit your email. We'll give you $100 off your booking. We'll also give you a guidebook of things to do. They submit that, you have an email, they have $100 off, they're happy. Or having like a website form, basically saying, hey, I know that you're looking at traveling to this area, you're probably booking a vacation, submit your email and we'll give you a guide of, all the free things to do in the area. So something that doesn't take you very long to set up, the guest finds value in it, and that way you can collect a very warm lead for potentially getting that direct booking into the future here. We'll skip the Facebook side of things, but then the last thing, and this is StayFi here, this is the idea of collecting all of the emails from current guests. So with current guests, really, you're trying to turn them into repeat guest bookings. So someone, if you are hopefully providing like a 5-star experience for all of your guests, you're doing a great job as a host, which I'm sure all of you are. You've already wowed them. You're really just trying to get you to consider them to book your property for all future trips. Now, the first time they booked you, it's very likely that it was through an OTA. So Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, wherever you might be listed, that's probably where the booking came from. The OTAs these days, they just aren't sharing those guest emails. So you do have to get a little bit creative with how you're actually going to capture that information. Since when the booking comes in, you see that, that email generated by Airbnb where you can connect with them, communicate with them, but you don't actually have their information here. And then, so what we're essentially doing, we're using those splash pages. Hotels use them, airports use them, coffee shops use them. So that the first time they log into Wi-Fi, they see your branding. They're asked to put in their personal information. They click connect to Wi-Fi and you collect that information. And what that does helps you collect the info from every single guest, not just the booker. So even if you do get a direct booking in the future, someone booked you from your site directly, they didn't come from an OTA, one person's email now, but they might be traveling with a group of, let's say, 10 people or 15 people or 8 people, whatever that might be. So by having the email collection on the Wi-Fi side of things, that basically lets you collect every single person's email instead of just that person who booked it. One of our customers here, we did a quick case study with them. So after 6 months of using StayFi, they have 40 homes, so they're definitely a larger property manager, but they collected 80% of the emails. Sorry, they collected emails from 80% of their guests. That was about 8,000 emails, and that resulted in $50,000 worth of direct bookings after kind of their first 6 months of running these direct marketing campaigns here, where, those are great repeat guests. They're coming back to you, which is great, but then it's also saving you a lot of money, $7,500 in this case, in direct booking fees. So it's both getting that guest to come back to your property, but then also saving on that side of things, and hopefully having them as a return guest over and over and over again. So diving into StayFi, since I'm sure that's kind of the interesting part of it here. It's a very simple system, which is why we focus so much on the marketing side of things and not diving into the nitty gritty here. But the core of it is those splash pages, as we were saying earlier. So either, if you manage multiple properties, they can all have their own splash pages. If you have one property, it can have its own, and they can all have, different, the same, whatever works best here. But what we're trying to do here is when the guest goes and logs into your Wi-Fi, I think mine's, so they would come up here, they would see this Wi-Fi pop up, they would see the guest network, they click on the guest network. First thing that shows up either on their computer or their phone is this page right here, where A, you're collecting their information, but B, you're also exposing them to your brand. So they basically have that brand recognition. This is one of our customers, Mountain Mama Vacation Home. They know they're staying with Mountain Mama instead of just thinking they're staying with Airbnb or Vrbo here. So if you're not putting your branding in front of guests, they kind of have that perception that, hey, I'm staying in an Airbnb instead of staying in your specific home here. So it's just a better way of getting that in front of more people. So right off the bat, hey, they know they're staying with someone professional. Cool. By default, we're collecting first name, last name, and email, totally customizable. Like all this branding is their own branding. So you would make that match the aesthetic of your properties here. You could also collect things like phone numbers if you want to do text marketing to people who are staying at your property here. You can add in a marketing consent box if you want to make sure that everyone agrees to your terms of marketing, that you're going to be sending them promotional offers. And most exciting here is that after they click connect to Wi-Fi, you'll also specify a redirect URL here. So every single guest who logs into the Wi-Fi, they're automatically taken, let's say, to your direct booking site is probably the most popular way to do it here. So every guest who stays knows they're staying with Mountain Mama Vacation Homes. They all see this direct booking site that has, hey, I can book directly in the future, and has, all this information about their properties, things to do, and so on. Otherwise, if you have like a guest guidebook, you could post like, hey, here's my house rules and everything. So that can all be just integrated in here so that every single guest sees those house rules, instead of that just being like an automated email that got sent to the booker and then they forgot to share it with the 5, 6, 7 other people who are staying with them. So we'll collect all that.
Oliver, we have a question. So how do you weed out the teens' emails and numbers?
Teens. Okay. Yep. So you can require a birth date if you want to. So requiring a birth date will make it so that we don't pass any emails of anyone under 18 to your email marketing tool. So that's a big deal in Europe. They have those GDPR laws. So if you do have a short-term rental in Europe for whatever reason, do make sure that you require that date of birth there. Laws in the US, you can advertise to anyone over 13. And typically, if it is a child, we do see kind of a parent logging in for them. And we see, that same email being submitted multiple times on multiple devices just to get through that login there. But that's there if you need it. And then, all that information that we're collecting here, that'll all live in a guest list. So you'll have all of that info. With this guest list, what's nice too is all of the information is associated with the property that the guest stayed at when they signed in. So if you're looking to, make specific email marketing campaigns for guests in specific properties, let's say you have like a large lake house versus like a small apartment, how you market those is going to be totally different. So this basically lets you segment that. If you want to market to people based off of when they booked, if someone booked like a summer holiday versus like Christmas, you can market to them differently. And then we also validate every single email with a system called Zero Bounce. So that's basically an automated validation that happens through a third-party provider, where when they type in the email, we'll either require a valid email for them to log in, or you could set it up where they can log in with any email. We'll just ping it when it's not valid, so that you aren't marketing to emails that are going to bounce and then, dinging your email score that way. So everything's validated. Everything's going to be a real email. And then we can pass all of those on to, any email marketing tool you may be using. So if you're using MailChimp, we take those emails, pass them on to MailChimp. That's all in there, and the guest would automatically start receiving whatever email drip campaigns you have set up. So really, once you have your email marketing set up, this is basically all of StayFi. It's just setting up these splash pages with your branding and then connecting your email marketing tool. So once you have these things set up, it just runs on autopilot. So it's not something you have to touch. So you don't have to say, hey, I want to get into email marketing. Or here I can pull up text marketing here. Or you say, hey, I want to get into text marketing where I'm marketing to every single guest who comes to my property. This is something that you would set up once, and then it just kind of operates into eternity, and all the guests are getting these different touch points from you and remembering your brand, and hopefully you're converting those into more direct bookings here. So that's kind of the StayFi marketing side in a nutshell. It's a nutshell just because it's simple, and there's really not much more to talk about here. So I guess, Savannah, any questions on the marketing side of things and the email collection, the branding, the splash pages, any of that?
No, I was wondering if this was a CRM itself, but then I saw the integrations that you're linking it to a CRM.
Correct. Yes. We have all these email providers, and then we do also have a few PMSs. If you're working with, let's say, OwnerRez or Guesty, we can push some of that guest data back into their systems, and then some of the CRMs as well down here. So, yeah. Okay.
Awesome. So you set all this up for your clients?
The clients set it up themselves. So, really all you're doing is clicking add splash page, creating adding in your logo, changing the background, and then it's set up and ready to go. All you would have to do is link your email marketing tool. So the setup of it is really just getting your branding in front of the guests. And then, that's really all you have to do. And in terms of how we're actually broadcasting these Wi-Fi splash pages, there is kind of a Wi-Fi element to this. So you would basically take one of these ubiquity access points that we work with, that would plug directly into your existing router. And then that's going to be what broadcasts this splash page to, every single person who's logging into your Wi-Fi here. So it's a brand new Wi-Fi network that we're installing in your property. That's how guests are seeing the brand. That's how you're collecting those emails. And then because we have that Wi-Fi network in place here, sorry, let me flip back to, actually, that's a good one. Because we have that Wi-Fi network in place, you'll also see a little bit of reporting on all of your Wi-Fi. So if you are a remote manager, you're not in the same city or the same state that you manage in, you'll be able to see the uptime of every single one of your Wi-Fi networks. Any outages would show up here. And then you'll also be able to see every device that's connected to the Wi-Fi, what speeds they're getting. So just a better way to monitor all of your properties and manage, any complaints that might come up on that end.
So what if you have multiple routers on the one property?
Yes. So we would essentially replace that mesh system with a full kind of StayFi system. So if you have like a large house, let's say you're 4,000 square feet, you already have like a Google or an Eero mesh in there. One of these access points would plug into your router, and then the rest of the access points would just plug into the power kind of around the house here. They'd automatically kind of boost the Wi-Fi signal between each other, create that mesh network, and you'd get Wi-Fi in the entire house there.
Perfect. Cool. So what are kind of some of your fees for setting this type of stuff up?
Definitely. So two sides to the fee structure. It would be actually purchasing that device, which you'd be installing at the property here. So those most kind of apartments and small single families, this long range access point is plenty. So we'd be looking at roughly 110 here for that initial setup. What's nice with this too, this is more of an enterprise solution. So these are typically a good bit stronger than what most people use in like a residential application. So you should see a little boost in your Wi-Fi there as well. And then on the on the pricing side of things, it's just a monthly cost per access point. So if you had one property, it would be $6 a month. Two properties would be $12 a month there.
So, and then that comes with the tracking software, that dashboard that comes with it.
Correct. Yeah. So what you're paying for here, that is kind of access to, the splash pages, the integrations with all of the email marketing tools. The only thing that would be extra in this case would be that text marketing side of things. So if you did want to do text marketing through StayFi, where you could send, let's say, welcome campaigns, review campaigns, those bulk messages to every phone number you've ever collected, those just run at 3 cents per text message. We're just passing that cost on to you guys.
Got it. That makes sense. Someone asked, are there any analytic tools to see how many direct bookings are coming from people who use that splash page to give their contact info?
Yep. So the only way to see that would be if the data is feeding into I guess two ways. So to see if the data is feeding, if you have a PMS connected to StayFi, we'll take that guest list of everyone who stayed at your property and push it back into the PMS. So instead of saying, hey, I have a group staying with me tonight, if it was a regular booking through Airbnb, you would have, let's say, one of those people's contact info. This way you might have all 10 of their info if they all submitted their info in that splash page. If any of them book in the future, you'll see them as a repeat guest. So yeah, you'd be able to track it in terms of repeat guests through the PMS that you're using here.
It would show you like the statistics of that somewhere.
It would just show you how many guests have been repeat guests from like the ones that we've pushed into their system there.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, otherwise just comparing your email list to whoever books the property in the future.
Right. Someone asked, do I need multiple access points or mesh in a 3,000 square feet cabin?
So 3,000 is kind of on the edge there, where it slightly depends. So if you're a 3,000 square foot cabin, I'd say one of these nano HD access points would probably be enough to cover the entire cabin there. If you're currently using a mesh system, so if you had regular Wi-Fi in the past with one router, it really wasn't cutting it, you had outages all over the place, that's when I would definitely recommend having that mesh system. So probably 2 access points. 3,000 square feet, that nano HD though, that should be a 1 access point job there.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you. So the service that you guys provide is really geared towards people who are wanting to generate more income for direct bookings, and then catering a platform of that to these people. So if people are out there like wanting to scale this business, they have Airbnbs, they want to generate more direct bookings, they want to create kind of a brand for themselves, like gearing more towards a business, it seems like implementing something like this is crucial, really, to be able to determine where these people are coming from, how it's tracked, and then getting over to the email campaigns. What's your guys? So you guys don't build out any email campaigns, or do you have people on your team that'll build those?
So not yet. Later this year, we're going to just implement our own email marketing tool into the system. And that will come preloaded with different like marketing campaigns. We're basically going to make it geared towards property managers. So it'll be more of a plug and play thing where it says, hey, you know, this is what we've seen has worked in the past. Like you just plug it in and let that run here with your own branding. We do work with a ton of different partners here. So if you go to StayFi.com, and then we have a little integrations tab at the top here. Yeah, integrations. All of the partners is kind of who we direct the email marketing questions to. So if you want to do it yourself, I would definitely recommend checking out Boostly. They're a company based out of the UK. Mark Simpson, super fun guy, probably the highest energy I've seen out of anyone. But they can kind of help get you, I think it costs like $6 a month or something. And they have just all the little templates and things you would ever need to help you just plug all of that and get everything set up in MailChimp. Otherwise, if you do want more personalized help, you want someone to create this for your property specifically, work out your branding and everything. We work with a few marketing agencies too. So Guest Hook, I would highly recommend. And then Switchback Email, I would also recommend. So we don't currently work on the marketing side. Our CEO was in marketing for a while here, but yeah, we're just focusing on the tech right now.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that's great that you guys have partners or affiliates that you work with that you can kind of hand over some of that work to. Because I think probably the biggest barrier to entry for people wanting to go the route of turning their Airbnbs into a full-scale business is the work like this that has to go into it, of like building out an entire email campaign. Like that's something that I've done for my business. And it's honestly over the last 3 months, I was just telling my business partner, has like completely lacked, because the amount of work and energy that goes into building an email drip campaign and regular monthly letters and subscriptions and the promotion piece and all that, that's a lot of work. So just hearing that company will do that for $6 a month is a little mind blowing. That's crazy. But a super cool option for people.
Definitely. Yeah. If you are inclined to do it yourself, but you don't know where to start, honestly, Boostly is where I would go. And then if you want someone to do it all for you, manage it all for you, or just do a one-time setup, I mean, yeah, Guest Hook is an awesome option. So, and yeah, I get you guys aren't doing it full time. That would be awesome if you had 40 hours a week to dedicate to this, tinkering around, you know, changing prices, sending all these emails out. But yeah, that's where the automation is really necessary. So, you know, you can't be a marketing team, but you can hopefully set it up once and let that at least run in the background.
Yes, exactly. It does. It can automate fairly easily with a lot of upfront work. So yeah, like you said, I mean, it's just a part of building the systems for it all. Awesome. Great. Well, there's about 15 minutes left. Was there anything in this that you wanted to point out any further to anyone, or anything that you wanted to touch on a little bit more?
Oh man. Yeah. If we're filling the full hour.
Yeah, I have tons of questions. I just wanted to make sure I didn't interrupt you. So
oh no, you are totally fine. So yeah, what really makes I'd say StayFi like a little different. I don't know how deep everyone here has gone into like all of the tech demos of, you know, all the different products out there. There just isn't a lot to it. So it really is just that automation that just runs itself. So it's a one-time setup where, you know, it take 15 minutes. We have a little getting started page. It has videos on every single step of the way. But this is something where you would order one of these access points. You would sit down, go through that setup, and then it would just run itself into eternity here. Yeah, one thing I'll mention on the text marketing side of things. So if you do choose to do text marketing through StayFi, this is something that we decided to build into the platform here, just because a lot of people have like a MailChimp connected to their, they've already chosen like one of the email marketing tools, but text marketing hasn't been coming up quite as much here. So we just built this. We released it live last week after it was in beta for about a month or so. So it's great for, mirroring what you're already doing on email marketing, whether it's like a welcome campaign, like a little drip, like a little, hey, like winter discount, check out our guidebook, all these things. The coolest thing I'd say we do is going to be the review campaigns. So if you do get into the direct booking side of things, one thing that most direct booking sites really lack, I'd say, is kind of that brand trust. So you might already be like a super host on Airbnb. You might have 500 5-star reviews. A guest who's booking through Airbnb, they would know that you are a real host, that you're a trustworthy site. Your property will exist once they book there. You lose that credibility a little bit when you move over to direct bookings, because you don't have those reviews. You don't have, let's say, a Facebook page that has 1,000 reviews. You don't have like a Google listing that's full of reviews, and they've seen that people have had positive experiences in the past. So this is really what I would use text marketing for if you're considering using text marketing. It's basically just a way of collecting reviews from every single guest who stays at the property. So you can basically say, hey, 3 days after a guest connects to the Wi-Fi, send them a message that says, hey, thanks for staying with us. Take a second to review your stay. They click on that link that they get here, and they're taken to a page that asks them to leave a review. And we're trying to drive 5-star reviews. So you could basically say, hey, the minimum review to be taken to a page that says, thanks for rating us 5 stars, review us on Facebook, Google, or our direct booking site. You could say, only show this to people who rated us 5 stars. So you're kind of pre-selecting those guests who had a great time, pushing them to leave a review on these third-party sites. Otherwise, anyone who leaves like a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, they'd be taken to a page that asks them to, hey, thanks for staying, thanks for rating us. Let us know what we can do better next time to get you a better stay here. So really, once you start getting into direct bookings, building up that credibility is one of the toughest things, since there isn't someone, prompting the guests to leave a review like over and over again, like Airbnb does, to try to get them to rate your stay. And then this is exceptionally powerful because it's not just the person who booked the property who gets to leave the review. If you have that 3,000 square foot cabin, that might be 15 people staying at the property. If all of them leave their phone numbers with you, you can be asking for 15 reviews and just growing that side of things pretty quickly here. If they leave a Google review, it helps tremendously in your SEO. If it's a review on your website or Facebook, it just builds that brand trust there. So I guess, yeah, that is the last functionality I would mention here. If you are looking to get into text marketing, this really does make it kind of simple and a lot easier than the other tools, since it's all just kind of built in here.
You said 98% open rate, right?
98%
That
open
is
rate,
wild.
which is crazy. So what's a little different is when you are doing email marketing, guests will have to opt in to, text marketing. Guests have to opt into text marketing when you're like asking to like use their text messages here. So we see this opt-in get checked a lot less frequently than, people submitting their emails here. But even still, I think right now we're sitting at about 20 or 30% SMS opt-in, and then they're going to see 98% of your messages. So really, a new tool that we're super excited about, and yeah, we'll see how it goes here.
Yeah, that's not, kind of just for context, like when I first started doing my email campaign and I grabbed like emails from my friends and family and type stuff when I was doing my real estate business. And when I first signed up with Active Campaign to start doing email campaigns, I called them because I sent out my first email campaign and it only had like a 50% open rate. And I'm like, no way, this can't be right. These are all my friends and family. Something's wrong with your system. I was about to like abort Active Campaign altogether. And it took talking to them and talking to some other real estate investors that they're like 50%, like
That's really good.
usually 20, like 20 is a good open rate in email campaigns. And it was like, for me, never having done this before, it was like, put it in a huge perspective of like, what's considered good. So the fact that you said 98% open rate is just like insane. But I mean, for me, like exactly, it's applicable, like emails, how many times do we just delete them? But on our phone, we're a little more inclined to open it right away. So I think that incorporating that feature early on, if you're wanting to go direct booking, is really smart. We had a question from someone come in and said, could you go over some of the critical steps to make the leap from exclusively booking on Airbnb direct booking?
Yep. Excuse me. Direct booking, two main things you'll need. I mean, your direct booking site, and then just a tool for actually managing your direct booking. So some sort of PMS. Small hosts who are kind of starting out 1 to 4 properties, let's say, we see owner res get used pretty frequently. They come up a lot. So definitely one to look into. Because I mean, right now, Airbnb, they're handling all of your reservations and everything. So this would be basically a tool that lets you accept reservations. So if you were to publish like a WordPress site right now, they would actually be the ones who receive those bookings and then manage those bookings. So direct booking site, the PMS, and then having some sort of contract in place. When they're booking through Airbnb, they're agreeing to kind of Airbnb's terms for how the property is being used and everything, usually having like your own terms for your own property management company. There's lots of companies that do this. I don't think we have any partners that do this, but something to look into. Also, I mean, I've heard insurance is a big thing. So the core things to actually make it possible: PMS, direct booking site. And then I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about all the other like legal things that you should be looking out for to take those.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like if you were to make a leap from Airbnb to direct booking, there's a lot of applications and technology software that you're going to be running that Airbnb has kind of streamlined for you up until that point. Like moving over to a direct booking, you'll now have to kind of incorporate different ones, like using this and then managing kind of Active Campaign. And it can be done once you start automating it and building out the systems, and in the long run could potentially save you money. I'm not 100% sure on all those numbers, but yeah, it's integrating all the technology features that Airbnb has done kind of seamlessly for you at this point, I think would probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll jump into some of mine. I'm super interested to hear kind of how this company has like gone into business. Like where was the gap and why, and what are you guys kind of working on next? You said integrating kind of emails potentially down the road. Like I think it's super interesting to kind of team up and partner with like new software like this, who's growing and evolving to kind of encompass more the needs of the consumers and build out more, but then also like stay very focused on what you're building. And like you mentioned, like not diving into the marketing piece yet because you guys are really focused on what you're building. So what is kind of next for you guys? How many clients do you guys have? Like, how have you guys been growing?
Yeah, so the company started at an interesting time, since it was like very late 2018 was when it started kind of getting kicked around. And then, I mean, we were in kind of growth mode in 2019, and then COVID hit. So that made things a little bit more tricky here with just property managers had a lot on their minds there, especially at the beginning. And there wasn't a lot of money to go around for, hey, let me add some more software that's going to charge a monthly fee and everything. So we're still pretty small at this point. We're just raising our first investment here finally. So the team is growing, which has been fun. Right now, we feel super confident in the product that we've built on the email collection side of things. So it really is going into helping, property managers do marketing more effectively here. So we're trying to really turn into that full one-stop shop marketing platform. I mean, we talk to so many hosts who are just starting out, and it's like, okay, this is great. This is super powerful. The email collection is great. And then what do I do with it? So we're trying to bridge that gap of what do I do with it? So when we release our email marketing tool, so it should be coming out, I'd say in the next 3 to 4 months or so would be my best guess. The way we're doing that, I mean, we're not marketing professionals, so we're just going and working with our partners. So we're partnering with Switchback and Boostly on this one. They'll be generating all of the marketing content, and then that will just be living, you know, in our platform. So it's as though you went to a marketing consultancy that charges, you know, hundreds and thousands of dollars here. Because I mean, they are putting in a lot of work to help you manage these things. They're just distilling their knowledge and kind of inserting those into campaigns. So that's kind of the really big push right now, is just to make the marketing side of things easier for everyone and more accessible. Otherwise, something that's coming pretty soon here is on the Wi-Fi side of things. In about a month or so, we're moving to all new devices, which I mean, I find exciting. I've turned into kind of a Wi-Fi nerd over the past 2 months here. But this is similar to like the change between 4G and 5G in terms of cell phones. We're moving to all 5G kind of appliances. So everything's going to be Wi-Fi 6 going forward here. Which is exciting, because then by adding StayFi to your properties, you are kind of basically buying a new iPhone that's more powerful, enhances that guest experience, and make sure that everyone appreciates your Wi-Fi here. So yeah, I'd say biggest things have just been making sure the system is rock solid, and then now that it is, building out that marketing side of things.
Yeah, into integrating this technology into your real estate business for growing investors out there, for any of you guys who are wanting to scale your business, is so necessary. Like, I have a portal very similar to this for like all of my investors, and a dashboard, and incorporating, you know, an email list and all that stuff. And it can be a little daunting, especially, right, coming from a background of medical professionals, of us not having really the expertise and training and all this stuff to try and learn technology and now integrate that into a business. But it's cool to see applications and software like this that are like very simple. Like you joked, you know, the nutshell being like, that's it, but it's almost better that it's so simplified. And it seems like, I mean, just even looking at your dashboard, I really love the look of it. It looks very clean and simple. So awesome. Thank you so much. If people want to learn more about this, or how they can get in touch with you, or learn about like your packages and kind of how they can learn more about this, where do they go?
Totally. Yeah. If everyone, StayFi.com, that has all of the info on there. If you do want to send me an email, Oliver@StayFi.com or support@StayFi.com. We have a live chat on there too, so you can always reach out. And then we do have codes for you guys to use if you do want to sign up. Code healthcare. Wasn't sure what to call it. 50% off of your first 3 months here. So that'll give you a little bit of a discount on that monthly fee. And then when you go to order hardware, if you use code first order, that'll give you 15% off of that, that first hardware purchase here to start getting things set up.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys, discounts if you sign up for their software and their program, super cool. I will also, if you guys didn't catch the whole recording, or you missed the first piece, or want to just rewatch it again, a lot of cool stuff in there. Great PowerPoint. I will be uploading it to my YouTube channel tomorrow. Net Worth Nurse. It's also in the Facebook group, so I'll post it in there as well. And then I'll post Oliver's contact information, as well as the information that's listed here on that slide, so that everyone can get a hold of someone at StayFi if you guys want to start plugging in some of their technology. So thank you again so much for coming. Very interesting. I love learning all these ways for people to scale your business. Like, these are literally the tools that you need to kind of take your business to the next level, is the technology piece. And I love that you've made it so streamlined. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you everyone for another Monday night together. Remember, this is our last Monday night. So we will be meeting next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Savannah.
Thanks.